Hello and good morning to our beloved audience at the Bulgarian Entrepreneur Magazine. Today, we're joined by Mark the Turk from the company FreeBoss, and he'll share with us some tips and tricks regarding how we can best handle objections when it comes to sales. Mark, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. Thank you. Yes, we are going to hold a lecture like every month we held a lecture in the past. And this time it will be on objection handling negotiations, right? Based on one, Lafayette from Hubbard, two, Grant Cardone, three, me, and four, Lao Tzu in his Art of War. Now it's called Technology of War. These are the four elements we use in handling any objection, whether in business or in family.
Okay. Mark, what are the most common types of objections when it comes to sales?
When it comes to sales, it's no money, no time, huh? Right? This is the classical thing. Or I have to think about it, right?
Yeah. Okay, how do we handle the price objections?
Well, of course, I'm not going to give all the data now. I would invite people to come to the lecture where we will do this. But the point is that any objection is one positive challenge, you know. If the people don't know about you or don't say anything, that's worse. But if they say our price is too high, that means that they are interested, right? It's just a matter then of negotiation, right? And the first thing in handling any objection, including the price objection, is making the other person right while not making himself wrong, meaning finding how the other person is right in his objection. That's super important. If you don't do this, everything else will be time waste, because in the mind of the client, he will still have the objection. While if you make him right, if you find that thing by which he can be right, he will, this counter force will disappear, right? This comes from Kung Fu techniques and also from Ron Hubbard on his book Ethics, where he talks about how to make a person right. Yep.
Very interesting. Okay, and when it comes to like probably the most common one, like I have to think about it. Like how do we start approaching this type of person who is having it very difficult to make decisions?
Well, people can be interested in something, but when they have to pay or when they have to decide, there is false objections and there is real objections. The false objections, we will learn on the lecture how to see this with 100% certainty. Okay, when it's a false objection, you just continue, basically. When it's a real objection, you never leave the sales negotiation in a maybe. A maybe is the worst which can happen, and for the client and for you. You better have a certainty, either no or yes, because when people are thinking, either they need other information, or they want to see competition, or they're just doubting. Now, when there is other competition or when they want to see things, you better ask and what's happening to go deeper to help the person. When it's just the fear of doubt, the fear of taking decision or the doubt, you help this person with no or yes. You do not end a sales negotiation in a maybe. This is the worst what can happen. So I call this the camping technique. You go till the end. And I have beautiful examples, which I will give on the lecture on that. But the point is, I prefer to have no than maybe, you understand? It's like when you want to marry someone and the girl says, maybe you don't sleep, right? It's better no or yes than a maybe. And that is the point in negotiation. At the end, when there is a decision, when everything is said and the decision has to be made, you go through it till the end. You're not pushing for a yes, you're pushing for a decision. And you leave the door open to a no, but you need a decision. You're not living in a maybe or I will think about it. That's the main point. There will be other things which you will say on the lecture, But that's the main point. You do not live in a maybe, okay?
Okay, perfect. Well, Mark, you mentioned earlier that it's very important for the customer to feel understood. And from that point of view, what role does empathy play when it comes to sales?
Of course, it's all empathy, but there is a difference between empathy and sympathy. You have on the emotional tone scale, you have sympathy, which is very low, which is basically vampire. You have no sympathy, which is negative, and you have empathy. Of course, a salesperson has, and not only a salesperson, in a negotiation, you need to stay in empathy, not only understanding the person, but understanding why the person is right. And that is a very difficult task for lots of people on this planet, to make the other person right. Basically, we all have different eyes and we see from our own viewpoint. And it's not only to understand the viewpoint of the other, but to see how this person is right from his viewpoint. That's the most important, because a lot of salespeople, they they say, yeah, I understand, but they don't understand the rightness. They want to make the client wrong, which is, on this planet, if there is one thing people have in common, is that they always want to be right. Not necessarily that they are right, but from their viewpoint, they are right. And so if you make them wrong, they fight, they fight till the end, sometimes really heavily. Okay.
That makes sense.
And the lower the person on the emotional tone scale, the more the person wants to be right. And the more he will attack, more he will cry, he will do lots of things, defend himself, but basically he or she is right from his or her viewpoint, and you have to find this. This is not easy. Me also sometimes have difficulties, yet after 23 years using this, but okay, that's the message. You have to find where the person is right and understand this. Yep.
Mark, is this unique with every person? Like, is there a need for personalization when it comes to different personality types with different clients or prospects? How do you approach this?
Yeah, every person is different on this planet, luckily. Otherwise, we would be living in the brave new world of George Orwell, right? So everyone is totally different from his own viewpoint, from his own thinking, from his own place, a geographical place also, and with his own eyes. So every person is different and every person is right. Now, the game is not to absolutely be right, but to find a solution where both end client and salesperson are right. This is called a win super win situation, right?
Perfect.
Not just win-win, because you hear a lot of people win-win. It's basically win super win, right?
Amazing. Fantastic. Well, Mark, thank you for joining us once again.
Welcome.
Looking forward to the lecture. And yeah, if you can tell us just briefly what we can expect.
Yes, so on the lecture on closing, you will expect the 6 steps in closing any negotiation. These 6 steps, they will be explained with details, with cases, so that people can, practical cases, so that people can really use it afterwards. And a lot of people, when they finish this lecture, really actively use this, And this will be on 22nd of October, 22nd of October at 4 o'clock. 22nd of October, 4 o'clock online. So with this, I would like to invite everyone to come to this lecture.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark.
Welcome.